Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be reviewing the match day that was a big result for Arsenal. Manchester United getting a big win as well. And of course, Man City continue to tighten the screws on league leaders Arsenal. Now, joining me this evening to review the weekend and to talk some EPL football, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the big Man U fan. He comes out when Manchester United is doing well, Sir Cole.
Greetings, everyone. Blessings, very good to be back.
We also have Christoph returning to the podcast.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, indeed, gents. Big weekend of football again. And we saw some very interesting results. We're going to kick things off over there at Man City Circle, the blue side of Manchester. Tightening the screws on Arsenal. Can Man City get there before Arsenal Circle? What's your say? What's your call?
Very good result for Man City on the weekend. I think Man City has now been firmly let back in the title race, and considering the amount of trophies that Arsenal are vying for, I think it may take a toll, and City may just have enough in the tank to wheel them in once again.
Well, Christoph, this is a result we expected. It was Newcastle playing midweek in the Champions League. And of course, once they play on the weekend thereafter, especially away from home, we know that they usually drop points. And so said, so done. Another defeat in that sequence. What's your thoughts on the game? Was it the expected result or did you see anything differently?
It was the expected result, but I can't help but feel that Newcastle might have been hard done by the referee in that game.
The referee.
Right. There was a somewhat controversial decision, with Rodri pushing the player into a offside position, that player then scoring, then the goal being ruled out.
That's a good tactic, I would say. Good defensive tactic. I'm not sure that's not a foul by any stretch of the imagination. We see much more grabbing and holding and pushing and tussling. What I would say was a weak call was the goal versus Arsenal for Spurs. When I saw Gabriel diving over from a nudge.
Oh yeah, man,
That to me was more of a controversial call.
It was a weak call. Weak call. It probably should not have been a foul to me. But I guess, the push in the back, so the referee said, foul. It was weak. I did not like what I saw from Gabriel in that instance.
But back to this Man City game though, Christoph, not to get entangled in that Arsenal fixtures just yet. I personally didn't see anything new from Newcastle. It was City really taking the game to them. They gave a good account of themselves, but Man City seemed to be on a mission circle. They seem to have that Pep DNA now fully engaged in terms of a fight towards the end. And Arsenal bounced back with a win. The points gap is now 5. But of course, Man City and the rest of the chasing group do have a game in hand. I'm not sure if we want to count that as 3 points just yet.
I think we count it as 2 points, in my opinion, at the moment.
So you're looking at it then, therefore, Christoph, as Arsenal having a 2-point lead rather than a 5-point gap.
It's not a 5-point gap, it's a 2-point lead, in my opinion.
I see. But we can't count 3 points before the game is actually played. We've seen stranger things happen. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a gimme. At the end of the day, these games have to be played, and who to tell what may happen leading up into this so-called game in hand. I'd rather have the points in the bag than the game in hand, in my opinion, to be honest with you.
This is the EPL, and until the points are won, you can't really say. But in all likelihood, we can say, well, then they should. But until they're really in the bag, then it's very difficult to say, well, yes, it's a 2-point lead. When in actuality, it's a 5-point lead.
Yeah, for sure. But Arsenal did bounce back in a massive derby. This was supposed to be a big test for Arsenal in all honesty, but this is a super poor Spurs team we are currently watching. A team that has one eye now on relegation being a real reality. Sir Cole. Will Spurs be relegated, Sir Cole? Let's start there first and then we move to Arsenal. Will Spurs be relegated or will they escape again as they did last season?
No, I really don't think they will. I think they have enough quality to can get the results which will see them through. They have invested a bit in the quality upfront, and I think they have enough in the tank to avoid the drop for this season.
I'm not so sure, to be honest. And we see a new coach coming in as well, not getting the new coach bounce just yet. What says you, Christoph? Will Spurs be relegated, or are you siding with Sir Cole in that regard, saying they have enough gas in the tank to get them out of that bottom three, quote and unquote? Or there are three other teams in the league worse than Spurs. Currently, we could say Burnley is probably gone. Wolves is certainly gone. And then it's a battle down there, I would say, between West Ham, Forest, possibly Leeds. And of course, I would throw Spurs in that mix as well. The victory for Crystal Palace somewhat alleviated being dragged down into that dogfight. But for sure, I think four teams have to be looking over their shoulders. I mean, West Ham being the most susceptible at this point in time, but for sure, four teams are in the mix. What says you though, Christoph? Is this the year Spurs go down to the championship?
I mean, obviously, it would be interesting to see if Spurs go on to the championship, but I don't think it will happen. I just don't think West Ham have the firepower to really claw their way out. Nottingham Forest might be saved by by hook or by crook, or I don't know. I think Nottingham Forest probably has a little more in the tank than a West Ham. I don't think West Ham have enough in the tank to kind of drag Spurs down or drag Nottingham Forest down. I think the bottom three now is going to be the bottom three at the end of the season.
Indeed, indeed. Hard to go against that call, to be honest. Very hard to go against that call. But Arsenal, Sir Cole, we come back to the mighty Gunners. uh Getting a big win over North London rivals. Uh Gokir is coming up with the goals. Eze also seemed to be this seemed to be Eze's favorite team to score against Circle, the very
Yeah,
team that
it looks
wanted to purchase him in the summer. He seemed only to score against Spurs and then
good.
go very quiet in other fixtures. But a deserved victory for Spurs, but things could have been different had that Gabriel incident Circle the goal was given. I thought that was a super soft call and that goal was chalked off. What says you on that goal, Circle? Was it the correct decision or the game has gone soft?
Yeah, I mean, so somehow it kind of reminds me of the I believe it was O2 World Cup Brazil, a call made by our local referee. Where,
Indeed. Peter Prendergast, I recall it so vividly. Brazil versus Belgium, Circle.
Yeah, that's the
Just
game.
before halftime.
Correct. Well, I mean, if you
I
can
mean,
say
that
that,
was to me that was a legit goal by the Belgium team. Legit goal, and we know Peter Prendergast is a Brazilian fan circle. I'll go out on a limb and say that. And so said, so done. That call went in favor of the Brazilians, and the rest is really history. But yeah, it was a soft call.
I
Argument
mean,
could be made that it was a super soft call.
letter of the law will say foul, but I mean, 9 times out of 10, those really aren't called. And I just say, yeah, very soft call by the referee. I mean, a goal would really have been given. I think many other referees in the same circumstances would have given a goal for that. For that,
Nine out of 10 times, that's not called
times.
circle. We've
Of course.
seen harder pushes on set piece and corners, and nothing is called.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was very I was very surprised to see that it was called back. I was very, very, very surprised.
Yeah, especially in such a big derby with such big, results on the line. it was a soft call in the context of things. But Arsenal got the rub of the green in that regards, and they did not look back thereafter. Spurs not really having enough firepower to bounce back, and defensively, that has been Spurs' problem all season. They look very susceptible defensively. The goalkeeper, I'm not sure if he is EPL quality circle. He's one of the poorer goalkeepers, I would say, from a technical point of view in the league. I'm not sure where Spurs went and purchased him from. Defensively, also weak without the Argentinian Romero circle. This Spurs team look ripe for the picking, and that's what Arsenal did. I saw Gokieres pretty much manhandling Gray for that second goal. I'm wondering what's going on. Is Gokieres that strong or Gray is that weak? I mean, Gray pretty much escorted him to the goal for that second Gokieres strike.
Um,
Weak defending.
I think
And
it's
Chris, yeah,
I think it's more. I mean, Gokir is strong, but I think he was probably a bit more shell shocked when he probably started the league and getting shoved off the ball. So if you've been watching him over the last recent weeks, you've noticed that he people have not been shoving him off balls like earlier in the season. So I think he's gotten better. He's adjusted better so far. But yeah, it is a little surprising. You know, defenders are usually stronger than strikers. So seeing, a striker just kind of easily brush off a defender to go and score a
weak.
goal is it looks weak.
Very weak. Not just look weak. It's very weak. Very weak. Very weak. I mean, no challenge coming in whatsoever. I mean, but this again, typical of the Spurs team, and the coach there definitely has his work cut out. It should be a real dogfight going down to the wire. And I mean, as I said, they should have one eye looking at the other teams behind them for sure. Because if results go elsewhere in the next couple of game weeks, they'll certainly be dragged in. And I mean, with confidence already very low, who to tell what might happen when that pressure of relegation looms circle. You can never tell. We see Chelsea getting red cards left, right, and center. We could see the same happening to Spurs. I mean, they are known to pick up red cards for those sort of
I
challenges
wonder.
as well.
I'm wondering how many of the Spurs players have the escape clause in their contract to say, okay, should they be dropped? Do they have the freedom to leave? Many players will have that kind of agreement in their contract, especially new players who see the position of the club, consider how poorly they did last season, and we say, okay, to get my signature, I need these kind of guarantee that, okay, should the club drop, then I'm free to leave to maintain my status as a Premier League player. I really love to see how many players have that written into their agreements with
I'm
the club.
sure at the start of the season, to be honest, Spurs as a club would not necessarily have been looking at a similar or a repeat, you could say, of the performance slash position from last season, but it seemed to be going almost spot on, where they're pretty much repeating the same situation, doing well over there in Europe, doing well in Europe. I mean, but doing super poorly in the EPL. As you say, probably just escape. Who to tell? But time is the master. The time will tell. But definitely not a good situation at Spurs. I mean, the team will need a total reset again come next season. Coach, players, staff, etc. This coach is probably
And I
just
mean,
there to see out the rest of the
prob-
season.
If they get
probably not,
relegated or in general.
Well, in general.
not
Okay.
necessarily, because when you look at how Man U would have been performing earlier in the season, and to where Man U are now, considering just a change of coach with no real overhaul, you would say, because the overhaul was already done from before. So you'll be surprised so many times how they just a change of coach or some other singular factor can have a big effect, as opposed to a great overhaul. So sometimes the overhaul just simply does not work. Because Man U has really overhauled for a number of years, and
Correct.
has really gotten not much tangible improvements.
Well,
And
I mean,
Carrick
with
has
Kerry
come in.
coming in now, he's
Yes,
probably
that's what I'm saying.
benefiting from that overhaul.
He has, but it wasn't a matter of okay. Um, he started the season with a new squad. It was the same players
Right.
who were performing mid table or poorly in the beginning of the season. He has come in and now got that whole
No,
different
it's not the same
results.
players. There are a number of marquee signings that came in over the summer window. So
No, I'm talking
it's
just
not
since
the same
Carrick
underperforming players.
since Carrick came in. The
Right.
same players who started the season under Amorim who were not getting the results, which he's now getting.
Yeah, yeah, fair,
Yes,
fair.
that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't it don't really need a whole bunch of factors to change to get improvements in the club's results. Just the one singular factor can have that effect.
Yeah, but I think Spurs team here circle might be slightly, I would say slightly different from the Man U situation, to be honest, in the sense that, as you know, this summer Man U did go out and spend big on some big name players. It's just
Mm.
that the coach who was coaching them at the time was not getting the result. And I think most football fans could definitely see why Amarin was not getting the result. In all honesty, it was. I'm not sure how he didn't see that, but the players obviously did not fit his three at the back system. No, 4-3-3, we can clearly see that these players suit that system circle. The same players, but a different system, and we're seeing a total transformation in terms of result. So to me, it was just the system that was hurting the players at the time and the coach
And
reluctance to change.
I won't just say the system because the system is one thing. Probably Amorim could himself have changed the system and gotten the same results. It's not a matter of the
But we'll never
system
know.
being
He didn't
changed.
try. He just didn't
True.
change.
Correct, which is true. But so I'm saying it's not a matter of the system alone because the system is one thing. Getting the players to actually buy into the system as well is also very important because the players can go out and play whichever system, but if they don't believe in it and are committed to giving their all for the system, then it's really null and void. So
Well, I mean, coming from Amarin Circle, I don't see one player who would not have bought into a change. I don't see it at all. I don't see one player who would say, no, man, let's play three at the back. Not at all. It was just not a system that suited the skill set of the players that they brought in. I mean, the players they brought in, let's look at it. Cunha and Mbumo, these are out and out wingers circle. That's their position they played for their previous club, which is what attracted Manchester United to them. Now you're bringing them in and asking them to play an inside 10. Come on. You're asking them to play a role they have probably never played before. Now we're seeing the best of them coming out in their
Yeah.
natural position.
You
Same
know,
thing with
my quest my question with that would be, were these really Amarin's players? Did Amarin ask for these players, or did the board bring these players in?
hmm,
I think
uh,
that is a good question enough.
you're asking circle Christopher.
No, yeah,
Is this a circle question? A Manchester
I,
United fan who
yeah,
should have the inside track?
it's a man. Yeah, it's a question. Was it that kind of like with Chelsea, where Chelsea it's the board or the sporting director who brings in players and not the manager? Is it the same thing happening at United? Obviously, with Ten Hag, we saw that Ten Hag got the players that he wanted to bring in,
Right,
right?
right.
Was that the case with Amarin, or was it the board that said, all right, we can't have a repeat of Ten Hag, so we will pick the players who you want to bring in?
Sure.
well, I mean, I'm really not certain what the model that they are using is. The fact is, he got players who not many person would have disagreed with based on their performance in the league. There were players who had good seasons prior. Mbuma with near 20 goals, so to Cunha, who had good positive impact on their team. So I
Right.
don't think anyone would have. gone
Good
against.
buys. Tried, tested, proven
Goodbye, of
talent
course,
circle.
yes. You used to the league
In
and
used to the league. No,
yes,
no
sir.
long time to bed in and eh,
No
know the
second
league,
guessing
been
the
performing.
quality
Oh no,
against players.
I fully agree that they were good buys, right? But in the case of Amarin, he came in to play a particular system. Did Amarin already identify that these players might not be in the system and the board still brought them in? That type of situation. Now, we don't know if that was the case, I think, right? Obviously, Amarin and Ten Hag to some extent got rid of some players that we could say had been underperforming under a number of managers. They would, perform for a period, then all of that would kind of jump off the cliff. Uh, Rashford, for instance, when it's time to renew a contract, his form would always miraculously pick up and then fall off a cliff after the contract is signed. Right? Harry Maguire right now is in very good form. A World Cup is coming up. He's out of contract in the summer. Is he going to get a new contract and then next season we have poor form again?
Time will tell for sure, but certainly whatever Carrick is doing is definitely working. Manchester United picking up another win. Sir Cole getting the better of Everton, 1-0 this evening. So for sure, whatever Alex Carrick is doing, Sir Cole, seem to be working.
Yes, sir. And we hope that that he's given the chance to further
So Carrick to take over full time then, Sir Cole, is your vote.
he has my vote. I mean, why go with something or someone who is not proven? He has come in and proven that
Right,
he is
right.
yes. So why go with something with an unknown over the known? It makes no sense.
But what if you're a known from a previous team?
Yeah, but I mean
What if
that's
you're a
fine.
proven manager that has won
What
trophies at the highest level
Let,
before?
let,
yeah,
let
but
me
it
ask
don't
you a
matter
question.
because
What what
Rafa done
what
it
if
before.
Carlo Ancelotti becomes available?
No man, they make him stay where he is. We work with Carrick.
Okay.
Carrick is the
Carrick.
person we getting the results now.
So work with Carrick until the results are proven.
Until the results are no longer coming consistently, then yes, then we can consider a change.
All right. Yeah,
So
I
Carrick
agree.
is the man.
I agree with Sir Cole. I don't think they should go without Carrick. But this appears to be the United cycle at the moment, so we'll see.
I mean, at least give a we call no like a 2 year contract then if you
Okay.
don't fully want to commit. So okay, we can give you a 2 year contract, but the job should be his
Based
based
on
on
result, I mean, uh,
results, of course.
yeah, I mean, Man U now sits fourth in the league, Sir Cole. So if they were to finish fourth or even possibly third, Sir
Yes,
Cole, the job should easily be given to Carrick.
yes, sir. Easily.
I see, I see.
What has he done wrong to say, well, okay, at this point, he should not be given the job? The only thing he
Well,
doesn't have a name with 5 Champions League and 10 league titles,
right.
but
Yeah, that's what people are saying. Yeah, he doesn't have
he's getting the results now.
the CV of other managers that might be available, like
But
Safa Tuchel, for example,
manager
Sir
with
Cole.
CV have come in and gotten nothing.
Right,
so
true.
work with the man who getting the results without the CV.
I see, I see.
Titles are not won by CV. Points are not won by CV. They are won by the work being done on the field day in day out.
And thus far, Carrick is getting the job
And
done
thus
with
far,
the
sir,
same ingredients that
Carrick
other
at
managers
the
have failed
wheel.
with.
Carrick at the wheel, sir. Yes.
Carrick at the wheel.
Yeah, man.
So in terms of predictions, though, Sir Cole, at this
Mm.
stage of the game, when it's the business end of the season, things are boiling down. Around 11, 10 games left in the season, Sir Cole. What's your top four, Carl, at the moment? Oh, give us your top four, Carl.
Man City, Arsenal, Man U, um, between Liverpool and Chelsea for fifth. I don't think
So
Villa.
you're thinking Villa will fail
I'm thinking
on
Villa
the
will.
home stretch?
Yes,
Wow, that's a
that's
big
my
call.
call. One of Chelsea are pool to to sneak in and grab a fourth spot. But I don't think Villa will. Put it this way: they haven't convinced me this season that they can
Mm.
maintain that kind of form and hold on to a top three spot.
Wow.
What says you though, Christoph? Sir Cole
I,
is saying Man City to lift the title, Christoph. I mean, Christoph, you did call Arsenal to lose this weekend as well.
yeah, shocking to. I mean, I'm happy to have been proven wrong, right, for them to bounce back. But also, it was a derby game where farm kind of goes out the window most of the time. So it's not a full indicator to me of if Arsenal has kind of turned the corner on this run of spotty farm
Right,
of
right.
late. But I was actually looking at the results. The form of both Arsenal and Manchester City, and they have the same number of wins and draws for the last 10 games.
Mm. But what's your
So,
predictive call at this point?
oh,
Who finishes
Arsenal
in the top
to
four?
Arsenal, Man City. United is going to use momentum and carry them. So United, I think, will finish third. I want to say Liverpool, but Liverpool still looks very shaky to me. Like, despite winning that much there on the weekend, I was not convinced by them. So I'm going to say Chelsea for the top four.
Mm.
Aston Villa looks very looks suspect at the moment, and they look like they're potentially going to drop points for the remainder of the season. Not
Well,
sure how many, but I think
yeah,
Chelsea
I
could
think
sneak it.
for whatever reason, I just think Aston Villa will maintain in
The
that
thing
top
is,
four.
I think based on how they were a bit earlier on, a few games ago, they probably should have been a bit nearer to the top. I think they are falling off a bit, and I think the form, falling off will actually continue.
Mm.
I
A
think
few more
after
defeats, a few more draws,
yes,
thereabouts.
draws and drop some more points, which can allow a team or two to actually pit them for that top four spot in the league.
Mm. Possibilities exist for sure. Possibility. I mean, at least 30 more points is up for grabs. At the very minimum, 30 more points is up for grabs. So we could see a completely transformed top four, with 30 points really up for grabs. It's hard to say, still hard to say who will finish where. They say many a slip between the cup and the lip, and it's the
Well,
business end of the season.
it's 30 more points available to Arsenal, but the rest of the league has 33 more points available.
Right, right. They're thereabouts. So much can change within those next 11 games, 11, 10 games. Much can definitely change. But Circle, any final thoughts as it relates to what you've seen this weekend and what you're expecting for this final run-in from these EPL teams?
The pressure is on. Pep and Man City are used to this kind of pressure, having chased down many a club and many a lead in the past. They have what it takes. They have the know-how. Maybe they lack a bit of motivation. I would say probably they want the challenge to, they have given a jump to make it exciting. But I believe in the end, they will pull it off. I believe it's just in Pep's DNA to thrive on kind of things like these. I remember one year they had like 18 straight wins to close out the league. So if it takes 10 or 11 straight wins to get it, I believe they will get it.
Mm, I see. Circle showing much confidence there. It sounds as if you hail Pep quite highly, Circle, on that coaching
Well, I
schema.
mean, of course, you have to for what he has given to the game and the results that he has achieved. You have to.
What says you though, Christoph? What's your final thoughts as it relates to this week's football in action, and what's the expectations going forward?
Um, my expectation for the remainder of the season is seeing some poor refereeing. because I've seen it started. It started. It was
Well, I mean,
poor.
Arsenal has been getting the run of the green. I mean,
Oh
you
no, no,
can
I'm not.
admit.
I'm not specifically talking about
Oh, okay,
Arsenal.
okay, okay.
Like
Generally speaking,
even Sunderland versus Fulham. Sunderland should have had another penalty early in the game. Question mark as to why. I mean, you get shoved. A striker getting shoved in the back while defending the ball seems like a penalty to me.
it's right. But I mean, VAR did get a few decisions right. I mean, Liverpool getting a goal allowed by a two. You one could say, you know. So, I mean, at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
but
it's a give or take business.
I
It
don't know
appears.
about the amount of extra time that they got in that one though.
Well,
Question
there you
mark.
again question marks, but there are question marks all the time. I mean, one way or the other, there will be question marks. It's just parts and parcels of the game. Indeed, it gives us something to talk about. You know, there has to be some controversy somewhere there, you know. Technology has uplifted the ante, and but to me, with the technology, I believe the referees are getting more decisions right than wrong as compared to without technology. I mean, I do recall Lampard scoring a goal against Germany in a World Cup circle. If the technology was available then, England could have probably
If
lifted a World
yeah,
Cup.
if ooh, that's a
Who to tell? I mean, 1986, hand of God Maradona. If VAR was available but then circle, that goal would have been ruled out.
Yeah, I mean, there are many
I don't
things
think
that
so. I don't
will
think so. No.
would look for it to change, but we can't remember
FIFA,
the hands of time.
Fi- all the leagues are looking very, very suspicious of late with a lot of these cars. If you even go over to Spain and look at some of the cars that a Real Madrid get or a Barcelona get, despite there being VAR, you have to say it looks seriously like some match fixing. Because, as I've said week in, week out, you can't get the replay to look at and still make the wrong decision. And I'm not talking like some subjective decision. I mean, a clear and obvious handball and things like that. And people, no penalty given and things like that.
Well, for sure, that's a discussion we will have to pick up, Christoph, another time. I know you're very passionate about these refereeing decisions, but that's all the time we have, viewers and subscribers. Thanks again for tuning in to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Circle, Christoph. Thanks for coming through, sharing your thoughts and your opinions. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, viewers, if you haven't hit that subscription bell as yet. And of course, leave us your comments in the comment section. Who are you predicting to finish in the top four with around 11 or 10 games to go? Who will finish in the top four? But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.